Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Decentraland Mana. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right hand corner of the screen. Now, let's jump straight into the TA. Now, as you can see, we do have a support block from 69 cents down to 50 cents roughly, and we've been targeting this area for a very long time. Even before we got down here in May 2022, I think I had the support block perfectly set up. We had a very nice bounce of support in May, then we had a move to the upside. Eventually, we came back down in October. We had the capitulation down to these lows in December 2022, and after that, we had the little retracement to the upside, almost doing a 3x here in a few months. And right now we're looking at a retracement of approximately 49% from the local high in February. Now, is this a good buying opportunity? I think this is a good buying opportunity. We are printing a higher low, which from a technical standpoint is very good. This does show strong bulls are coming into buying Mana right now, because some altcoins have actually come back down to the December 2022 low, and that tells me that there are a lot more sellers than there are buyers, and the sellers managed to push the price back down to where we came from. Now, from a technical standpoint as well, coming back down to where you came from is also something that happens quite often. So we could potentially see a retracement all the way back down here to 29-30 cents. That is a possibility, especially if we have a flash crash, especially if we have some sort of a black swan event. But generally speaking, once you're in this area, this is a very good averaging in opportunity between 70 cents and 50 cents. Now, obviously, the lower it is, the better it is for you, because the lower your average buying price, the more potential profit you're going to have. So right now, if we end up dropping below the support block one more time, as you can see, we did drop off briefly here, but we ended up retracing, printing just a few higher lows, but this doesn't look very strong in my opinion. We're running into a major resistance level, which is the daily 55 EMA. Now the red line is the 55 and the yellow one is the 20 EMA. Now you can see that we're running into the same resistance we ran into back in May 2023, and if I add a resistance block here, you can see that this area is exactly what we held as support back in March. So we retested this area as support, we came up, had another back test of support, and then eventually we broke down in May. So we're basically, what we're doing right now is we're back testing this area as resistance for the second time. So this does not necessarily look very bullish in my opinion, considering the fact that we're going to be having another interest rate hike in June potentially. Now, if they go for a pause, there is also a chance to get a interest rate hike in July, because they could be looking at a hop, which is when they pause for a short period of time and then they start increasing the interest rates once again. So basically the Fed can do whatever the Fed wants to do. So you don't have to rely on their word, because they can go back on it within a second and they're just going to forget whatever they said before in the previous FOMC meeting. So just take everything they say with a huge grain of salt. Now, if you're looking to enter, I would also be looking at this yellow support trend line. So as you can see, this is a local support, ascending support trend line that we started retesting in May. We had another bounce at the end of May, and then one bounce here at the start of June. So it does look like this is potentially, some sort of an ascending triangle. But if we do end up breaking to the upside, I think that is going to be brief, and we're going to be coming back down to the yellow support trend line regardless, because the environment at the moment is not an environment where you can have all of these higher cap altcoins moving impulsively to the upside. Of course, it is possible, especially if we get some bullish news for Decentraland Mana. But overall, it does look like we're going to be coming back down to this support eventually. And also, just generally speaking, anything below 50 cents is is cheap in my opinion, because you take a look at where we were sitting back during the previous bull market, more specifically at the all-time high prices at around about $5. So from that $5.86 mark, we've dropped down 95%. And from that 95%, obviously, we're printing a higher low, which is good. So potentially, this was our bear market low. Potentially. Now, I would have been certain of that, of course, if we broke above the August high during this rally, which is what I was hoping for. Unfortunately, not a lot of altcoins did that. The majority of altcoins had printed a lower high, and now they're retracing back down. So effectively, there is just this resistance trend line that we have that's keeping us down and that's suppressing us. So that's something that you want to be keeping an eye on as well, because if you're looking for some swing trades, you may be able to, take profits over here and then average in or buy back into the project over here at the support of the block. But that's only if you are willing to risk some of your coins, because obviously, if you sell, there's no guarantee that the price is going to start reversing. Typically, when I swing trade, I wait for the asset to get very overbought, which means I take a look at the price action and I look at where the EMAs are. Now, if we're looking at a similar scenario to what we've seen here in January, you can see that we had a parabolic move to the upside. The EMAs were overextended from each other, so there was a gap between the EMAs and there was a gap between the price action and the 20 EMA. So you're extremely overbought here. This chart was screaming pullback at us, and eventually we did get the pullback. So in that case, it was a bit safer to swing trade, but then again, what if we just continue to the upside? You would have been left down there with your fiat, and that's not really what you want to be doing. Taking a look at the daily RSI, I think that trend line is not supposed to be there. That's possibly from the weekly chart, so ignore the trend line. Now we do have the RSI moving to the upside. Let's see if we have a bit of a divergence here. I don't think we do have any divergences, but let me just confirm. So we're printing higher lows on the RSI, which is exactly what we're doing on the price action. So it's good in that regard. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't seem like we're having any divergences at the moment, which is good. It's neutral, and the RSI is sitting at 56 on the index right now. So I would say this is a good buying opportunity, but you can see we've printed like 5 green candles. So just wait for a bit of a retracement, guys. This is not where I would be buying. Of course, if you're extremely bullish on the project and you're just so eager to get into it right now, you can buy, but never go all in at one price, because most definitely, like I said, we're at least coming back down to retest this ascending yellow support trend line. And if you're looking at the RSI for some support, potentially take a look at this over here. We can set up a support block from this low that we printed in March all the way up to that this low that we printed in May. Right, so you can ignore this. This could be a bit of a fake out. So once you start entering this block, that is when you can start looking at some potential entries. And if we go lower, obviously that's even better, because the price is going to be cheaper. Now let's jump into the weekly chart. Taking a look at the weekly chart, as you can see, we have a Fibonacci retracement set up from the presumable bear market or the presumed bear market low that we have printed in December 2022, and we also have the swing high as the all-time high printed in November 2021. Now I would be targeting $11.10 as our bull market target. This would put us at approximately $20 billion market cap, which I think is doable for a metaverse project. I think if there is going to be another metaverse hype wave during the next bull market, projects like Decentraland, Mana, Sandbox, and all the other metaverse coins are going to be popping off, and I think it is possible for some of these coins to get into the tens of billions, because during a peak market, during a peak of a bull market, everything's pumping. Trust me, guys, everything's pumping. Everything you can think of is going to be doing, tens, hundreds of X's. So I think it's not far-fetched assuming that we're just going to be doing a 2X from the previous all-time high, which is not that much, honestly, but $11 is more of a conservative bet, in my opinion. $20 billion market cap, that's enough for me. So if I'm going to be getting into Decentraland Mana once again, that is the price that I will be targeting. And we obviously see this descending resistance trend line. We also have the golden ratio here sitting at $1.73. That's going to be a major resistance level for us to break above. So once we do that, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to be retracing back to $5.12.5 at some point. So we need to get through the golden ratio first, and I think that can be done sometime in 2024 with some luck, or with this rally, potential rally that I'm expecting in August/September, we could see this massive pump to the upside. We get to the golden ratio and then we see the retracement from there. So a dead cat bounce technically, because you print a high, you retrace down, you start coming back up, you run into the golden ratio and you get sent back down. That's a dead cat bounce. So if that does end up happening, hopefully we can retrace all the way down to the previous resistance trend line and have a bounce from there. But obviously this is me speculating too much in advance. Let's not do that here. And we're just going to be reacting to what's happening. And what's happening right now is that we're a bit overextended on the weekly chart away from the EMA. So this is a good area to start buying into the project. We are very, very low in terms of the price action. We're close to where we were sitting back in June 2021. So that is also a support level, as you can see. So you can target that for some entries. And if for whatever reason we do end up dropping back down to this low at around about 30 cents, that's when you can start putting in as much money as you can just to have a solid position. So that pretty much covers it for the weekly chart. The stochastic just started recovering from the oversold, so you're still good to buy in based off of that indicator. The weekly RSI is sitting down at the index of 42, so not too overextended to the upside, not too overextended to the downside, sort of in the middle area. So that is pretty much it for Decentraland Mana, guys. This was requested down below in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on the chart. What are your bull market targets for this project? If I'm going to be getting into this thing, like I said, $11.10 is going to be my bull market target, which is the 1.272 Fibonacci based off of this current Fibonacci, because if we drop lower than the December 2022 low, obviously things are going to shift a little bit. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next update. Take care and goodbye.